Hey guys, Jake Palat here, and today I'm going to talk to you about butter slides. Why butter slides? Because once you're comfortable riding a wakeboard, getting in and out of the wakes, the question is, where do you go from there? And a lot of times it can be scary to think about jumping the wake, going big, all that stuff. So today I'm going to talk to you about a low impact solution for progressing your riding. And step one for that, in my opinion, is butter slides. So step one for learning a butter slide is knowing what a butter slide is. If you already know, skip ahead. If you don't, this is an important part. So a butter slide is when you turn the board sideways and your stance goes from riding a wakeboard to almost like you're water skiing on your wakeboard, where your board's sideways, you break the fins free, and you're just sliding across the water. The reason it's called a butter slide is because when you're sideways, it gets super slippery and you get that loose, free feeling underneath you, because with your board sideways, your fins are not engaged. So if your typical wakeboard stance is something like this, you're lean back, standing up nice and tall. When you go to do a butter slide, the biggest thing that's important is that you maintain your body position standing up really, really tall. So imagining that there's an arrow in the center of your board, it's going up through you, through the top of your head. If you're standing on the ground, it's going to be straight up and down, right? When you're wakeboarding, and especially when you get into butter slides, you want to make sure that arrow is slightly leaned back away from the boat. So when you're ready to do it, we're going to go slow. I mean, like real slow, like 14 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour maybe. As slow as you can basically comfortably ride on the water. What that's going to do is it's going to make it a little easier for you to break your fins free, and also save you if you fall forward. It's going to make that fall hurt a lot less. Standing right behind the boat is the place to be. Stand up nice and tall, shift a little weight over your front leg, and as you do that, you're going to bring your back hip, in this case this is my right hip, up towards the handle. Number one thing is you don't want to let your hips fall backwards. When you bring your hips up towards the handle, they're staying in front of your shoulders at all times. If you make this pivot correctly, it's going to feel super loose and squirrely underneath you. Just stand up tall and keep that handle still. Your handle is your support line. If you're moving it around, things are going to get really squirrely underneath you. If you keep it nice and still, you can just lean back on the line and everything will stay fairly stable. So when you're ready to start doing the butter slide, step one is to slightly shift your weight forward over your front foot. What that's going to do is help you break your fins free on the back of your wakeboard. So step one, shifting your weight forward. Step two is bringing your back hip up towards the handle. What that should feel like is the front of your hip right here, strictly moving up towards the handle. As you do that, you want to keep your hips in front of your chest, keep that arrow pointing backwards at all times. You want to avoid letting your hips drop back because that makes you more likely to fall forward. You also want to make sure that you're keeping the handle nice and still. Rather than pulling the handle to your hip, you want to bring your hip up to the handle. This is your lifeline. Keeping this line still and supportive is going to be the key for holding your balance through all this. At the point that you get your board sideways, it's going to get real slippery, thus the name butter slide. So as it starts to feel slippery, think about maintaining this tall body position, keeping your arms nice and straight, keep that arrow pointing from between your feet, through the top of your head, a little bit away from the boat, nice lean against the line. Number one thing is keeping that handle still. If you're lifting up, pulling in, moving it side to side, things get squirrely around you. You want to leave the handle still and move your body around that. So once you get comfortable around 14 miles an hour, you can do the same thing slowly speeding up your boat, maybe 1 mile an hour at a time till you're back at your normal riding speed. What's fun about butter slides is you can do them in a lot of different spots, whether you're hitting the lip of the wake, going way out to the side of the boat and taking a whip. As long as you're maintaining this strong body position, you will be able to do it no matter where you are behind the boat. So you're not always stuck directly behind the boat. You can do it on the lip of the wake, out to the side, going around a corner. Whatever is in your comfort level, you can throw a butter slide in there and it keeps it super fun. So even though this is a low impact, relatively simple trick at its base, I like to keep it fun. I pretty much do a version of this every time I wakeboard, whether it's a lip slide at the wake, lip slide 180s where you fully break the tail free at the top of the wake, or backside lip slides where you turn your back towards the boat and do basically the same thing, but the other way around. There are tons of different ways to incorporate this trick into your riding, no matter your riding level. It's definitely a trick that grows with you as a rider and never gets old. So if you haven't done a butter slide or you're looking for new ways to add to it, I highly recommend get out on the water, slow the boat speed down a little bit if you need to, and experiment with it. It's a ton of fun and generally a low impact way to progress on your wakeboard. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you subscribe to follow along for more videos like this, as well as wakeboarding, foiling, a bunch of other stuff always coming on the YouTube. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.